Welcome back, everybody, to episode 36, Draft to Glory Montreal Expos in their quest to win 10 championships. How long will it take us, starting in year 1901 and going all the way up until however long it takes? But hey, the good news is every episode I get to give away 5 standard packs, so stay tuned for your chance to win. For your Perfect Team account, you have to have Perfect Team in order to qualify. All right, let's go and take a look at the 1920 award winners. We left off last season with the champion. Got to point them out, give them some recognition, the Philadelphia Phillies. And it looks like it is their first championship of the series. So congratulations, Philadelphia. You've made the World Series a couple times, but this is your first victory. I know you've had some really bad teams, because I know you've had some high draft picks, but congratulations. Finally, you win the show. All right, Washington Senators have made the World Series 2 times in a row, and they are a 2-time champion, or no, a 1-time champion. They won last year, and they had 1 World Series appearance in the inaugural year back in 1901. Award winners. Let's start with the AL award winners. Your MVP. I can't believe it. Really? 37-year-old Dan Brothers is 1 MVP away from double digits. Now I hope he gets it. Hitting .329, he beat Ty Cobb, the reigning 2-time champion. And look at this, brothers. There's a reason why we call this award the Dan Brothers Award. He wins it so many times. Your Cy Young winner for the first time, Washington Senator Jake Arrieta, who back in the day was drafted 6th overall back in 1916. So first Cy Young Award winner for the Snake. Paul Sorrento from Boston is your Rookie of the Year, 25 years old. Drafted in the 2nd round. Not often these 2nd rounders get awards. And Billy Wagner, 3-time winner of the Reliever of the Year. 32 years old, drafted back in 1910, a 3rd round pick of the Philadelphia Athletics. And again, for those of you that may just be joining and tuning in, Draft to Glory means we have no injuries on, we have no trades on, no free agents. Teams only develop through the draft process. So all the players that they draft will stay on their team until they retire or, just go into minor league oblivion. That's how this series works. Didn't want to put on injuries, didn't want to put on trades or free agents just because it would require a lot more gameplay, a lot more disruption of the sim, and I want these seasons to go on fairly quickly. All right, as promised, we're going to go back now and look at all the 1st round picks. Let's go first of all to the Hall of Fame vote, because we'll do that first, and then we'll go to the draft class, and then we'll take a look back at the last 20 first overall picks. Probably won't get to the draft for this year in this episode. We'll leave that till the next one, because it'll probably take a while to go through the 20 first round picks. Okay, we are at the Hall of Fame votes. And as I always do, we'll go through and we'll quickly put in some players. Let's look at the first ballot Hall of Fame eligible players. Harry Abels, Fred Beebe, a really good bronze card when this game came out back in March. Matt Cain, Joe Dobson. We got Julio Gate, Jose Guzman. There is our very own Doc Halladay, Johnny Oates, and everyone else is a 2nd or further ballot. Who is on the most? Dykstra, his 8th appearance on the ballot. We're going to keep putting him on. I believe you're eligible for 10 of these, and then they drop you off the ballot. Who else do we put? Let's just do it quickly based on metrics. Matt Cain winning record 79 WAR, 79 metric, 2 Cy Young, 2 World Series, 1 playoff MVP. Oh yeah, I think he deserves it. Julio Gallardo, no, I'm going to keep you off. He had a losing record, which doesn't mean everything, but, you know, we put Dykstra on because he's got 4 gold gloves, 2 World Series, and only a 35 metric. Let's put on John Markham again. Winning record, no personal awards, no World Series, but here's a guy that just was on the bad teams at the bad time, Philadelphia. Johnny Oates, 4 gold glove, 2 World Series. I don't think if his hitting was a little bit better, maybe I would put him on. Andy Pettit, let's throw him on there. Winning record, 66 WAR, 1 Cy Young, 1 World Series trophy. And Kerry Wood again. 2 World Series trophies and a playoff MVP. If I'm missing anyone here that I should put on. Doc Halladay, leaving him till last. I'm going to throw him on. I think he deserves it. He's got over 80 WAR, won 2 World Series, has a winning record, and close to 2,000 strikeouts. So I think if we put him on, we have to put Jose Guzman on as kind of a gold glove pitcher. Had a winning record, 62 WAR, 50, almost a 51 metrics. And then Cal Daniels. Cal, you just quite didn't make it there. Anyone else as a reliever? No, not going to put on Bronca. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. Dick Allen, going to put you on just because you had a solid career with a high batting average. We got a few extra slots. We'll throw you on there. All right, Hall of Fame ballots submitted. Won't take very long to find out if any of those players did make the Hall of Fame. I think Roy Halladay has a chance with those stats. He pitched quite a bit for us, and I think the AI is going to reward him with a first ballot Hall of Fame selection. And again, stay tuned. A little bit later, we will have our trivia question for your chance to win 5 standard packs. Hall of Fame ballots are in. And it is Roy Halladay making it in there with Matt Cain. Matt Cain looks like only 1 vote short of being unanimous. Off the ballot, you can see all these players that dropped off the ballot. None of our players. Dykstra stays on for a 9th year. Cal Daniels stays on. And congratulations. A 2 selection class. Matt Cain and Roy Halladay. Let's go on to the first year player draft. We'll take a look at the projected picks, and then we'll take a look at previous first round picks. Montreal should have a pretty good draft position. I think we should be somewhere in the middle of the order, and still a good enough slot where we should get an okay player. All right. The draft lottery has been announced. With the first overall pick in the 1921 draft, it will be the Pittsburgh Pirates. They move up 1. Detroit moves up 2. Cincinnati stays at 3. And the St. Louis Browns are the big losers. They had the worst record, and they pick number 4. Top 10 projected picks. Well, what great timing. A card that was just introduced into Perfect Team. If not the best, one of the top 5 shortstops in Perfect Team currently. And in our game, we have going to be good, guys. He is going to be good. 20-year-old Pebbly Jack Glasscock, first projected pick. Nolan Arenado, a 5-star potential third baseman, great defense. Bob Emsley, 4.5-star pitcher, top projected pitcher. And then we got Jack O'Brien, Chris Paddock, Tex Irwin, Zach Greinke is in the game. Yeah, I hope he falls to us. I will take Zach Greinke. And Van Mungo, Giordano Ventura, and finally the catcher, Deacon McGuire. Top 10 picks. Projected. Doesn't always work out that way. All right, time to go in and take a look at the draft and the previous top 20 number one picks. The 1901 draft, the very first draft that we had after the inaugural draft, was Arlie Latham's. He was the first overall pick, still playing, 37 years old, playing for the Brooklyn Robins. And what a great, great nickname, the freshest man on earth. Well, you were drafted 20 years ago. You're not so fresh anymore, Arlie. But looks like you've had a fun career. Only one accomplishment, though. 1909 won the Platinum Stick Award. So for a first overall player, some durability, some definitely lasted long in the game. I don't want to say a bust, but I'm not going to say a home run. Only once did he lead the league in any kind of category, and that was back in 1909 with 85 runs. So I'm going to say a little closer to bust because he was first overall. This was the draft where Joe Sewell was part of the draft, and maybe I can rank it by batting stats. See if this works. All levels. Oh, I don't think it's going to give us their career stats. Maybe if I go to scope, or where was it? Split, time frame, career. That should do it. Okay. Yeah, there we go. And I think I want to customize this so we can see the draft pick. Draft round pick, draft pick. I think we want that one. Let's see what that does. Go, we'll move that over here. I love that you can customize the game so well. There we go. So now we got some stats that you can kind of look off as well. So if we're going for, probably the best picks of this draft, depending how you want to sort it. If we sort by hits, Greg Jeffries, who was picked number 9 overall. Our very own Joe Sewell, 2nd overall in hits. If you want to go by power, it would be Andrew Jones, who was the 20th pick. Greg Jeffries again, up there in power. And RBIs, Billy Klingman, drafted 24th overall, Greg Jeffries and Joe Sewell. Just looking off this, I would say that the top 5 picks, just from names I'm seeing quite a bit, is Billy Klingman, our very own Joe Sewell, Greg Jeffries, and probably, I don't know, again, it all depends on what you prioritize. We're not looking even at defense right now. We're just looking at offense. So Klingman, Jeffries, Sewell, definitely 3 of the top 5 from 1901. 1902 draft, a draft where we had Dan Brothers. Oh, we're not going to spend too much time here. Dan Brothers, number 1 overall pick, 9-time winner of the Dan Brothers Player of the Year Award, 141 WAR. Bo Jackson, who we took 81st, I'm calling that a home run. From this draft class, he's got the 2nd best WAR. Another home run, I would say, for the team that drafted Ben Spencer. Here's a guy, a center fielder that ended up with I guess the WAR really drops off. So I'm not going to call that a home. Otherwise, players kind of projected out where they were drafted. So Brothers, Jackson, Gonzalez, 3 of the top picks there. There's ranking by hits, Brothers and Jackson, by home runs, Brothers, Gonzalez, and Jackson, RBIs, Jackson, Brothers, Gonzalez. So yeah, those were the top 3 from this draft class. 1903. Love how the game we get to see these things, this fantasy baseball. Mike Griffin was the first overall pick, and he had a great career. Platinum Stick Awards, an MLB champion. He won MVP one year. So yeah, he had a really, really solid career. Looks like he's still playing. And if we look at his stats, a run machine. Led the league in runs 7 different seasons. Led the league once in hits. Doubles a couple times. But his gem was stolen bases. Look at this. Led the league every single year except for 3 in stolen bases. He definitely was a home run pick for the Cincinnati Reds. Again, just sorting through by hits. Griffin, Devers, Altman by home runs. Devers, Daniels, Altman, RBIs. Devers, Altman, Griffin. And by WAR, Griffin, Altman, Daniels. Going by stolen bases, he outclassed this year by far. So again, when I talk about busts or home runs, Griffin was a home run. I would say Fred Hartman was a home run, being picked 27th overall. And yeah, I'm going to give a home run to whoever drafted Ralph Hamm. Ralph Hamm drafted by Detroit, 137th overall. No, 103rd overall. But for 103rd overall pick, usually they don't pan out. We're talking, I don't even know what round that is. 10th round? 7th round. Yeah. No awards, but a solid player for Detroit in his career. All right, so 2 home runs so far, and then kind of a Arlie Latham, solid pick, but I don't think it's a home run. 1904. First overall pick that season was Anthony Rizzo. So Anthony Rizzo still playing for the Cincinnati Reds at 36. And when we look at his stats, that's a bust. There is our first genuine bust, because we've got Beniquez, who was drafted 11th overall, had the most hits in this draft class. Mike Sweeney, drafted 4th overall, most home runs, most RBIs to Mike Sweeney, most WAR to Beniquez. So Beniquez and Sweeney, I think, were the top 2 offensive picks. Larry Boa, 500 stolen bases. And yeah, we don't see that number 1 pick until much later. I mean, he's a good pick, but when you see Zach Walters go 109th, I'm giving that a home run pick. Jose Ortiz, Larry Boa. Yeah, so good stuff. Whoever drafted Juan Beniquez, New York Giants. One time led the league, first year in the league in average. But won a championship, won Rookie of the Year, couple championships, and a Gold Glove. All right, there is our first major bust year. Let's go on to 1905. 1905, WAR went to Ned Williamson, who was drafted 12th overall. In terms of RBIs, Hank Aaron was in this draft class, 4th overall. Hank was 2nd in home runs. Charlie Keller. Charlie Keller. Drafted 15th overall. That was, I think we had an option to take him. Who did we take? We took Paul Molitor. Now, Paul Molitor, I'm not going to say was a bad pick. If we click on all these categories, he's in the top 10. He has the most hits of anyone in this draft class. WAR-wise, he's number 5. But if I could take it back, I would probably take Charlie Keller. Yeah. But again, it different position. Maybe it's better to have the infielder. Paul Molitor did lead the league in runs one season, hits a few seasons, triples one season. He's had a lot of at-bats. Mr. Endurance. So there we go. First overall pick that year was Ben Paschal. Where does he rank in WAR? Where is Ben? He's got to be up here somewhere. There he is. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, out of the top 10. It's out of the top 10. So Ben, what have you provided as a number 1 pick? Not much. Not much at all. Although he did have his best season last year. Maybe a late bloomer. I'm going to call that a bust pick. I think there were several players, including Jimmy Wood, including Hank Aaron, Paul Molitor. All right, let's go on to 1906. Number 1 pick that year was the big clue, Ed Klaszewski, still playing for the Philadelphia Athletics. But where does he rank? Is he a bust? It's not in the top 10. Home runs, number 5, which you would expect. Shohei Ohtani was part of this draft. All right. Shohei, who we missed out on. War-wise, Omar Vizquez. I kind of regret not taking him. His defense would have been great. Career fielding. Now look at this zone rating. Just amazing. Maybe the best we've seen in the game so far. So that is a home run pick, number 15 overall for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I would say that Rengifo was a home run pick for St. Louis, number 2 overall in WAR. Again, we took Scott Stratton. We took a pitcher. And he is, I'm not going to complain. He's a good player. He's a two-way player. Take a look at his pitching stats. Pitched a lot of games, a lot of innings, led the league in a few categories because he pitched a lot of innings, so he's going to give up more home runs, going to give up more walks. But also had a lot of Ks and very high WARs. So definitely Scott Stratton, I think, for us was a home run. After Scott, we see some of the players that were drafted. Darren Erstad, home run pick there, of course. Omar Vizquez, or Vizquel. Heine Pates. So there you go. That is your 1906 draft. I don't think we've really made a big mistake so far. I think the players that we picked so far, Sewell, Bo Jackson, who we got very late, Paul Molitor, Scott Stratton, I think we've had a good run so far. 1907. First pick was George Davies. And again, depends how you evaluate a player. But for me, this is a bust. Even his defense can't save him. Pittsburgh Pirates first overall pick. Yeah, this is even worse than that other bust that we looked at. Look at this. One season hitting above 200. Real life stats. George Davies played 4 seasons, it looks like. Or that's pitching. We want to look at batting. Real life stats. Yeah, hard to evaluate a guy on real life when you played so few games. But the biggest bust so far for first overall pick is George Davies. And even the number 2 pick, Carl Hubble. Carl Hubble hasn't had a great career. I mean, he's got a fairly good WAR, but actually, no, he's got a negative 9.3 WAR. But I saw it 46. Total 46. Not sure where they come up with that WAR. So there you go. WAR-wise, top guy was Jimmy Williams, 4th overall. Carlos Correa, solid pick. Suarez at number 6. Home run for Casanova pick. catcher for St. Louis Cardinals. Hits wise goes to Jimmy Williams and Correa. Home runs, Correa and Casanova, and RBIs, Williams and Correa. So yeah, those definitely were the top two picks of the draft. Again, we picked, who did we pick here? Where is our pick? I know we had a pick. It must have been really late. Manny Seguin. Yeah. Manny Seguin. I mean, he's had a good couple average years, but our worst pick so far. You know, when we rank by WAR, and Manny Seguin just outside of the top 10 with an 11 WAR. We could have had Castro, could have had Tim Anderson, who I was thinking about. I was considering Tim Anderson, Todd Walker, Casanova, Fern Bell. So I guess probably Fern Bell might have been the pick to go with. But anyway, Williams, Correa, hands down, top two overall picks in that draft. All right, let's go on to 1908, the 1908 draft. Hit-wise, A.J. Pollock and Robinson. Home run-wise, Williams and Ozuna. In terms of WAR, Mize and Pollock. And Mize was the first overall pick. And career-wise, I wouldn't say an outstanding home run pick, but it a successful pick. For who drafted him? The Reds? Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds. Did not lead in WAR. The WAR leader was Bernie Williams, pick number 3, and then Wilbert Robinson, second in WAR. So Cincinnati, not going to fault you too much. Yeah, there were a couple players you could have picked ahead of Johnny Mize. Bernie Williams would be one of them. RBIs, he's up there. Runs scored, Bernie Williams. So I think probably Bernie Williams deserved to be number 1, but he went fairly high. He went number 3 overall. We did not have a chance at Bernie. All right, so again, probably our weakest draft in terms of players was last year with Seguin so far, but this wasn't a great one either. Marquise Grissom hasn't played a lot. I would probably say he's even worse than the Seguin pick. Who could we have picked after number 15? Well, Rudzelanek had a solid career. Culberson. Tony Horton. Yeah, that's, again, once you get past the first 5 or 6, it's hard to hit that home run. 1909, WAR-wise. Elvis Andrus, who we did have our eyes on. Jimmy Ryan went number 1 overall that year, and that is another solid home run pick. Jimmy Ryan. Hit for a high average, no pitching to be aware of there. Chick Stahl, Babe Young, Bud Tinning, and Diaz were the top 5 picks. We picked Patsy Donovan. A bust. We were so close to getting Mickey Mantle. Who did we pass up on? Donovan, shockingly, is still, on the front page for WAR, but when you look at the front page, there's guys that haven't played a game in the major leagues that are on the front page. So it's interesting that all these players drafted and very few make it to the majors. And that's because, previous drafted players from previous years stay on the team a lot longer. It's a lot harder to break in. So Andrus, pick number 11, we didn't have a chance at him because Donovan went 15. So we could have taken Bill Hassemeyer, could have taken Bosch Schmidt, Ken Boswell, Will Myers, Dude Esterbrook. But yeah, we can't really fault our team. We didn't really have a lot of good options left. Shad Berry might have been the best pick, home run pick there for Detroit Tigers. So again, Jimmy Ryan, definitely a home run pick for the St. Louis Browns. Was he the best player in that draft? Again, you could argue he was. Shad Berry, Andrus, and Mickey Mantle with Chick Stahl. Top 5. And then we see the drop off. 1910, first overall pick that year. Ty Cobb. Oh yeah. Home run. Big home run there. Maybe not as big as Dan Brothers, but big home run. Washington Senators got arguably the 2 best players in the first 10 years of the draft class. They lucked in getting both of them. Germany Smith, pick number 11, has a pretty high WAR. Jack Smith, number 4. Liscano, number 8. And then we got Majeski, who we took with our 29th pick. So he was our second round pick. Who did we pick in the first round? Pat Malone. Right? It would have been Pat Malone? No? Thinking of a different Pat. Who did we take in the first round? Interesting. We had to have a first round pick. Of course we did. Chat, help me out here. Who did we take? Yankees. There we go. Dick McBride. Ah, yeah. A reliever. Dick McBride. So there's the rankings by WAR, Cobb, Smith, Liscano. By home runs, Liscano, Cobb, and Smith. By hits, Cobb, Gar, Smith, and Smith, Liscano. So you get an idea of who the top players were from the 1910 draft. On to 1911. First overall pick was Kurt Welsh. Wow, I would not have known that. I forgot about this guy. Picked first overall, center fielder, only played in the league 5 or 6 years. Chris Spire, home run pick. 15th pick, highest WAR of that draft class. Bert Schotten, 14th overall, Eisenreich. So in terms of WAR, I would have to say Kurt Welsh is a bust. I'm calling it. He's a bust. And huge home run for the Pirates for taking Stan Lopata. Stan Lopata, when were you drafted? Like 8th round? 9th round. He's won 3 Gold Gloves, 1 champion. I'd have to say that is the biggest late round pick so far. The biggest home run late round first pick. A 9th rounder, and you guys have seen my drafts. Once we start getting to the 7th round, there's a lot of red in the ratings. So here's where the random talent generator did a lot of favors to Stan Lopata. Had a pretty solid major league career too. All right, so if we rank again, not sure if I did the rankings yet, by hits, Schotten, Eisenreich, Renteria, home runs, Peralta, Spire, Eisenreich, RBIs, Schotten, Eisenreich, Peralta, and Spire, Schotten, Eisenreich. So Schotten, Eisenreich, Spire, Peralta, Renteria. A lot of late first and second round picks were the players of 1911. On to 1912. Our pick in 1912 was Dennis Eckersley, wasn't it? No, we had thought about him. Who was our pick? Tully Sparks. Yeah. Tully has not seen any major league action. Drafted by the Expos 13th overall. Our biggest bust so far. The first player who has not played a major league game yet that we've drafted. Hits-wise, Lou Finney, Hartford, Lowell. Home runs, Scoop, Thompson, Finney. WAR, Finney, Henderson, Lowell. And runs scored, Finney, Hartford, Lowell. So again, we're getting now 9 years from where we are now, so we're not going to see a lot of high war buildup yet. But this is the worst draft class overall so far. Like, really, we've got one player who's amazing at triples, by the way. He's led in triples every year so far. Doesn't really even have the gap power or speed. That is the most unusual stat I've seen in this episode. So yeah, I would say that 18th overall pick Lou Finney is the steal of this draft so far. First overall, Bill Bernhardt has not seen major league action. Just like Tully Sparks, the Red Sox whiffed. We've got a big-time bust. First player we've seen that has not played in the major leagues in his career. Turner, Saberhagen, Manoah. But yeah, I mean, it's still early. But Finney, this is a bad draft class, guys. One player over 400 hits. One player over 200 RBIs. And one player over 200 runs scored. All right, 13th, 1913. See, here we have a little bit better than last year, and they're a year further removed. Charlie, I heard someone in chat say, you missed out on Charlie. Yeah, I did. You were right, chat. 32.9 WAR. Herrera, again, was another really solid pick. He was drafted 33rd overall. We got, who did we take here again? Nick Markakis, I believe. No, he was a round 2 pick. All right, let's sort by picks. Oh, this is the Ken Griffey Jr. year. Oh, okay. It's still early then, because Ken Griffey's 25, and Hollicher is 20, almost 28. So I'm not going to say we made the wrong pick yet. Absolutely not. Willie Mays, definitely a home run, first overall pick. Great selection there by the New York Giants. And then we've got Hollicher, Herrera, Schulte, Abreu. But look for Ken Griffey to work his way up. He hasn't been in the league that long. Sorting by hits, Hollicher, home runs, Schulte, RBIs, Willie Mays, and of course, stolen bases go to Hollicher as well. So as of now, it's Mays, Hollicher, Herrera. Top 3 picks. All right, 1914. Again, we don't see a lot of play time, so I'm not going to evaluate the players. I'm just going to look at the first round pick, the first overall pick, and our pick. Tony Gonsolin was the first overall pick in this draft. Again, hasn't had a long career in the major leagues. It's still early, but based on what I'm seeing, it is, I guess he's a pitcher. We got to look at pitching stats. I'd say, 12 saves, 112 wins. Got 1 championship, 1 gold glove. I'm not saying it's the best pick of the draft, but it's a solid pick by the Washington Senators. So the Senators got brothers, they got Ty Cobb, and they got Tony Gonsolin. They've had 3 number 1 picks. We've had, I think, 0. I think our best was number 2 with Ken Griffey Jr. So if we sort by WAR, it's Bancroft, who went number 4. I was hoping to get him. Remember that. I was pushing. I think we picked number 5. Mind you, we could have, when all is said and done, we could have the best player of this draft. Yeah, I do. So far, Whitey Lockman, 19.6 WAR, but he's played, look at this, he's played half of the games that some of these other guys have played. So if we double his WAR, that makes it to be, close to 40. Yeah, I think Whitey Lockman might end up being the pick of the draft. And we got him number 5. 1915. First overall pick was Harry Stovey. And again, we're 6 years removed. Looks like the best pick so far. Anyone that's not played a lot of games that could pass him, I don't think so. I think it's going to come down to Chris Bryant, Wright, and Stovey, number 1, 9, and 4. We picked Frank Schugert, who I'm extremely happy with. We could have got David Wright. I do remember seeing him there, but I don't know. Frank Schugert compared to David Wright. We can compare those two players. Stats. David Wright definitely with the RBIs, definitely with the runs. Played about the same amount of games. Look at that. Amazing synchronicity. Each 692 plate appearances. How does that happen? So David Wright, yeah, I'm going to give David Wright the edge. Definitely. When we look at average, David Wright was the pick. Defensive stats, they don't show defensive stats. So we took the wrong guy there, David Wright. Does he play? Only third base, and Frank Schugert play shortstop. Mind you, yeah, Schugert's not a good shortstop. How about David Wright? Is he a horrible third baseman? Kinda. So in that case, offense wins out, and David Wright was the pick. So Stovey, Wright, top 2 picks so far of that draft. Although we didn't strike out with Frank Schugert. 1916. 1916. I don't see anyone in 1916. What's going on in 1916? Go back to 1915. Yeah, they're all there. What was it? Did World War I cancel the draft? Not sure what's going on there. All players. Adding stats. Let's try 1917. There we go. For some reason, the game did not. It can't because no one played in the league. I have to try and figure that out at a later date. 1917, again, still really early. First overall pick was George Gore, and George Gore deserves to be the first overall pick. Rocco Baldelli, pick 21. What a steal for the Phillies. And another steal, Rusty Wright. Rusty Wright, picked by the New York Giants, 32nd overall. So again, really early to kind of set any kind of bust or home run pick right now. But we can clearly see top 2, Gore, Baldelli, Wright, and Cooper. Mark McGuire. We call him a bust? Not really, it's early. And our pick that draft was Tim Raines, who has not played in the league yet. He's only 22, guys. He's only 22. Give him time. All right. 1918. First overall pick 3 years ago, Todd Helton. And he looks like the pick. Todd Helton, Fred Clark, Glenn Wright, and probably Ben Grieve are your best picks. 1 to 4, 15, and 33. So I'm calling a home run pick for the St. Louis Browns and a home run pick for the Chicago Cubs. Couple steals there. We drafted... Who did we draft? Who was it? Storm Davis? Oh, Harvey Kuhn? I can't remember who we drafted. Probably someone still in the major or in the minor leagues. Michael Harris? I am stumped here, guys. I'm going to have to go to customize, and I'm going to have to put in team. Who did we draft? Again, you can't give away draft picks. Okay, Todd Helton, Philadelphia. Boone for Boston. Dusty Miller. No. Clark with the Red Sox. June, and I know you guys are probably going, it was this guy. It was that guy. Thought it was Storm Davis, but it was not. And this was just a recent draft, too. Michael Harris? No. Reds drafted Alexson. Perez? Oh, how about this Perez? No. Robertson. Any Para? Well, that is weird. One draft class that doesn't show up at all. And then this one here, I think there are only 16 picks in the draft. Oh, I think it was Howard Johnson. Yeah. Okay, we had to go way down. Sorry about that. Howard Johnson has not played in the league yet, but he needs to be above rookie. What is going on there? Sorry for stunting your development. Holy smokes. I apologize. You're ripping it up in rookie. Okay, let's make that change now because that is uncalled for. Put this at AA and we'll put this at rookie. Howard. How dare I? In fact, we're moving you right to AAA. Yeesh. Glad I went through this exercise because he might have went his whole career in rookie league. All right, a couple more quick drafts to look at very, very quickly here. The 1919 draft, first overall, went to Bib Falk. Again, really too early, but early numbers show that Wright, Sabo, Bibb's up there as well. But these guys have played less than 150 games. And then who did we take that year? We took the most recent years are the trickiest. Who did we take? Heine, didn't we? No, Philadelphia. Kevin Brown, I think. Yeah, we took Kevin Brown. Still in the minors. And then, of course, last year's number one pick went to George Brett. No one has played in the league yet. No rookies broke in from last year's draft. So there you guys have it. Our first look at the 20 number one overall picks. My top three, Ty Cobb, Dan Brothers, and I think when all is said and done, I think Whitey Lockman might be a top pick from the first 20 drafts. All right, your question for the video. Let's go and look at the mock draft. Give me any one player in the first round in the mock draft. Any one of these. Just don't duplicate something else that someone else has posted. Put it in the comment section with your perfect team username. we are projected to get Deacon McGuire. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Deadline is going to be Saturday, the 28th of October. So this video should have went up on Tuesday. So we're going to give you 4 or 5 days to get entered into that for 5 standard packs. We will see you next episode.